Well, it was a little tedious. I mean, the corners are my problem. When I get in the corners, the street tires give way under power, so I have to be drifting the bike. But nevertheless, we do our best.
In the modified production 2, the rivalry was hot. In his first race after his incident in October when he overturned the car, Peter Jagan was back for revenge. Rumor has it he was using the Purple Turtle engine. It did well as he set the front-wheel drive track record during qualifying and was, of course, on pole right beside Mandeville's Alan Chen. But why the engine swap?
Well, my engine, the one that was built for this Dover, we actually had it blew up basically. We had a bearing problem, so it went, and we didn't have enough time to repair it to have it for the meet. So my next teammate, Team Outcast, he's not racing this meet, so like all good buddies, we live together. So just throw that one into my car to allow me to race. So it's performing good, just a slight overheating.
Green flag, and Alan showed his class by reaching the total corner first, of course, with some turbo power. Peter Jagan was quick to show that a naturally aspirated engine can still compete by keeping Alan in striking distance. Not to be left out, though, was Dean Shaw, his now turbocharged Pro Challenge truck. Peter Jagan, doing all he could, even ran onto the grass, entering the Carib Cement corner, giving Dean Shaw the run into second place on the front straight. Behind them, the battle was also on between Nigel Edwards of Team Brownstown and Kishore Williams in his Nissan. But to everyone's surprise, Dean Shaw was actually giving Alan a run for his money. The hunt for the top honor in this race became a four-man battle when Peter Jagan rejoined and Dieter Wilson joined the fight. But the fight was too hot for Dieter as he retired with his truck on fire. For a moment, it looked as if Alan had lost first place to Dean Shaw exiting the total corner. But Alan Chen did what he had to do and went on to win the race in fine style. Here's how he describes the race.
A lot of pressure.
He also talked about the improvements since the last meet.
I lightened it.
You lightened it?
Right, so I just need some suspension and brakes now and I should be good. But until then, I'm fighting with what I have.
Second place, Dean Shaw told us about his machine and what he is trying to create with it.
All right, well, Dieter Wilson and myself, who has other truck, we came together. We saw these cars running in Florida, and they actually utilize a motorcycle engine. We thought that it would be a great idea to incorporate that here because there's so many avid motorcyclists, so we do a crossover between a car and a motorcycle. So this is actually running a motorcycle engine, turned sideways. In a lightened frame, the car weighs 1,700 pounds. We turbocharge it, which we all did in-house. It's not a lot of money in aftermarket parts. And we're producing about 250 horsepower to wheels. It handles well, and we're hoping other people will get involved, and maybe we'll create a series with these trucks for themselves. Like you have the IP, the MPs, well, we'll have a Pro Challenge series, so hopefully.
He also told us what he thought about the winner and sent him a message.
Alan Chen, amazing driver. I mean, I tried to pass him several areas and couldn't do it, not yet. So we're working on it, but I'll catch him by the end of this year for sure. I'll be on his tail. Yeah. To Alan Chen, watch out, I'm coming.
Can't wait to see that battle. With a field of 8 cars, the modified production MP1 race got underway, and even though it looked as if this was a false start, well, from Kyle's view at least, the green flag was given. Brian Foster was off to a good start, seemingly ready to take it to Kyle Gregg, but Kyle quickly got those thoughts out of his head by retaking the lead by the time they reached the total corner. If that wasn't enough, he left Brian and the field to fight for themselves. As the winner was quickly decided, the second and third place was now between Foster and Barrett. Third place was not in Barrett's vocabulary, and in the second lap, he took that position in front of the grandstands and went on to distance himself from Foster. The race went on and ended in this fashion. Kyle Gregg first, Gary Barrett second, and Brian Foster third. Here's Kyle talking about his amazing car.
There's a new engine in the car built by Xavier Murray. The car is running superb. It's handling fantastic. Xavier Murray and NG Racing of Peter Moody did a fantastic job.
Again, with a small field of 8, the modified production MP3 Race 1 got on its way with King David Somerville on pole with Hollywood Gore beside him. Given the go-ahead from the flagman, the King went on his way in fine style. Doug's Evo 10, said to have handling problems, proved so as he slid around the corner, exiting corner 1. Mark Carey, with his home-built Evo, started its first race out of pits due to missing the gridding. Nothing was really expected of him though, as he had a major incident during the qualifying the previous day, leading to a pretty much overnight rebuild of the car. Peter Zoom Zoom Ray with a faster Mazda started the race from the back of the pack, raced through the field and took on George Bailey, but an incident in the lime corner contributed to Bailey losing his front bumper and Zoom Zoom spinning. Luckily, they were able to continue the race. Technical issues retired Gary Williams prematurely, while David Somerville continued to dominate the second fastest class of the day, distancing himself from Doug even while slowing down to save the car. But again, Peter Ray spun, on his own this time, in the tire warehouse corner. Here's why.
The brake bias was out, it was too much back brakes, and I went in a bit too hard on them, and it looped. It's a bit twitchy with the front end. We're trying to sort it out.
He controlled it wonderfully and was able to continue through to the end of the race, which was won, of course, by the king, David Somerville. Doug, who obviously slowed too in the race, tells us why, and also about the switching of the cars from the Evo 5 to 10.
While I was going around on the convoy, the car was pulling over to the left. We had done some alignment changes to the car last night. And I said to myself, well, maybe it's just something that was wrong with the alignment setting that we did. After I moved off on the start straight, David had gotten the jump on me. And when I went down into the braking zone, the car went sideways, and I said, the car is not handling right. Came back down into the crowd, and same thing happened again, the car twitching sideways. So at this point now, I could not drive aggressive to keep up with David. And the car just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And so, something is seriously wrong with the front end. And before I go out there and crash, better just ease off. And that's exactly what I did. David was easing off also. So it's best thing to just bring the car home, look and see what has happened. As we can see with the tires, they're totally egg-shaped. I bought these tires from actually David Somerville last year. So maybe I'll buy my own next time.
Oh, ironic. How big of a problem is this, considering that you may have a number of other runs for the day? Is it as simple as a tire change?
I really and truly hope so. We're going to do that, and I noticed some oil had sprayed up onto the glass. The dipstick had actually come out, and then oil was now forcing through the dipstick. So that was another precaution that I saw, and I actually smelled the oil. So we're going to deal with those things now. We have 3 more races to go, and let's see where it happens after that.
Outside of that problem though, how is the car performing?
Well, we built this car as a rally car, and now it's a circuit car. We started from scratch. And everything was kind of last minute, trying to get the car ready for Dover. The whole thing about the Evolution 10 compared to the 5 was reliability. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to come here, race all day, forget about trying to dominate. What we have is that T-Mobile was really having a reliability problem. Knowing that the Evolution 10 is a new car and we'll get all the reliability gremlins away, then we'll now make the car fast. So we have to do that first, and then we'll progress now and get the car fast.
On the new rules and regulation, improved production, IP45, the beginner series got on its way. The first green flag sent the 4 turbocharged cars in the IP45 racing against one another. 10 seconds later, the naturally aspirated street cars in the IP45N got their green flag. In the IP45T, Don Thompson in his Subaru led 90% of the race in his class. The lone Nissan in the IP45T, driven by Andrew Morris, held second well, but lost it to Kurt Diaz after passing the Pepsi hairpin. The race continued in this fashion until Glenn Allen attempted a pass on Andrew. He seems to have made it, but for some reason held back. He attempted the pass on Andrew once again on the following lap and was successful. In the naturally aspirated race, Everett Brady in his Honda Accord from the Portland Motorsport Club, PNC, retired on the exit of corner 2 for unknown reasons, but Jason McPherson in his red Honda Integra Type R led the entire race for the IP45N class.